Hi, I am going to be reading two poems from each of my books, beginning with One Kid, a Telling. And this particular picture is a linoleum block print I did when I was in the 12th grade and won a blue kiki and a blue ribbon and a gold key at the Boston Art Scholastic contest. So this is a memoir of my childhood from age 4 to 13. I'm beginning with a poem called Buttons. So what? Pissed off kid spits out. So buttons, the ma replies. Like that means something, like not getting an answer, like it just don't matter what the kid thinks on account of a kid is a kid. And the ma, she just don't have an answer for nothing and never did, excepting she's the ma. You know how it is. Or maybe you don't. Maybe your ma had answers, like on television, in houses where furniture don't scratch and linoleum don't crack, but the kid knows it's all cracked where the kid lives, and the ma knows too. Buttons hold clothes closed, like not open, like keeping inside, like not letting on. Buttons keep clothes together, not like home, nothing together there. More like not naked, which don't mean not torn or faded or even that they fit. Safety pins hold skirts tight to not fall down, 'cause the ma don't sew. Well, much of anything, though she does have needles and a couple of spools of thread. What for? The kid again. To sew. The ma again. What? Buttons? This next one is called Neverland, from watching the TV, black and white TV version of Peter Pan with Mary Martin that you see every year on Channel 2, I think around Christmas time. Neverland. As the Tinkerbell light dims and slow fades, Peter implores, if you believe, shout, I believe. Clap your hands. The kid sits, hands still, knows kids clapping everywhere, can almost hear, but knows a light is a light, knows life and death and don't depend on this kid. Light gets brighter as the kid knows it would. Seeds wires, holding Peter, Wendy, the boys. The kid first wipes tears, doesn't want to be seen, crying for a flickering light. Feels a something heavy, midway, throat and belly. Whispers a wanting, something more than belief, something hard and real. Okay, and I'm going to go over to this book, Outcast, the Penakees Island Leper Hospital, 1905 to 1921. And the photo I took on the island. So that is actually part of Penakees Island, which is rather flat and treeless. It's a very barren place. And the city of Massachusetts made a leper colony there when there were a bunch of cases that came up in this time frame. And they just didn't know what to do with people. And nobody wanted it in their area because leprosy is scary. So this book contains, it's a documentary in verse, and all the people in the books were real people. The patients and the doctors on the island at the time period. The only made up person is Betsy, who I thought they needed a cook. And even though they had one, I didn't know who she was. So this is not Isabel. Isabel Barrows was 27 years old when she was diagnosed with leprosy. She had 2 children and her husband was a fisherman. Her children was put into foster care, and until the colony opened in November 18th, she stayed with her husband. She was diagnosed in April, so she went like 6 months in her husband's care until the colony opened and she was moved there. She was pregnant at the time and delivered a healthy boy who was then placed in foster care as well. So she lost all her children, essentially. Isabel. The day my son was born, I breathed fear and joy, gazed at his perfect body, inspected each finger and toe. My son, held a fleeting 20 days, sent to join brother and sister. Dear husband, where are your gentle hands, your soft voice, my comfort? I dreamed of beginning. In our new home, we would live and prosper. Napoleon, my husband, out to sea at dawnbreak, provided well. The children came. First, lovely Agnes, and then a son strong of limb and lung. He howled so loud, I thought he called the devil to our home. Perhaps he did. Another woman holds my children, presses their clothes, sends them to school. And Napoleon, who cares for you? Dr. Edmonds whispered hope into my heart, said the word cured, until the new doctors came and slammed my joy hard on the rocks. Husband, my arms are empty. I can't hear my children's cries. My home, one room, a narrow bed. Your letter softened by my tears. This is not the beginning I bargained for. As it turned out, her husband, whose name was actually Napoleon, drowned in a fishing trip in that first year, but no one told her that, which was probably for the best. The next poem is called Willie Folds the Sheets, and Willie was the name that was given to Goon Lee Dip, who was 23 years old and born in China. He was sent to Penakes on November 18th, one of the original 5, and died December 26, 1920. So he did live 15 years with the disease. He left a wife and child behind in China and sent home his what he got paid for doing the laundry to his wife and child. Willie folds the sheets. Air still. Sheets hang straight, no billow or luff. Sun white glare, eye squint, summer heat dry. Sheets scent fresh. Willie takes down and folds in linen dance. His wiry arms stretch out and together, cloth folded tight, laid in willow basket. Willie breathes day heat in sheet squares, bends to see black feather fallen on white, air spin sheets sail, someplace far, someplace pushed away. His wife's hair, wings spread on pillow, their son curled into her, their breath breeze gentle as this day, sun and sheets. That night, Willie places the feather on his pillow, dreams his wife stretched against him, dreams their legs, arms, all a tangle, dreams her hair, scent, body, musk. He breathes deep. In his dream, he sighs and moans, wakes with pillow clenched, belly clutch, aches, arms, shoulders, neck, heart. And I'm just going to read one more, which is about Mrs. Parker. She and her husband came the second year and stayed until it closed. And they were really loving, saintly people. Mrs. Parker reflects on death and healing. Inside the green picket fence, markers grow like weeds. One year, we made 7 trips with a horse-drawn wagon, slow walk and scuffle. When we laid Lucy next to Isabel, November 5th, 1916, I could not fight the tears. The line of wooden markers carved with initials and numbers wavered in my sight. I will continue combing the island for flowers to tuck into old jars, as Isabel did when she could. Frank reads all the journals searching for cures, asks that bedding be changed more frequently. Willie keeps his tubs filled and boiling, launders linen most every day. I consult the old herbals seeking tinctures, plant red clover, pennyroyal, burdock grows wild, order golden seal from a catalog. I boil strange concoctions sweetened with honey, coax into throats constricted with sores. Frank approves, blending old world with new, leave no stone unturned, he tells me. I read scripture from one herbalist. My people are destroyed from lack of knowledge. Hosea 4:6. Every trip off island, we scour bookstores, herbarians, medical libraries. At times, we pray. Okay, I'm going to read 2 from my book Lost Inside that came out last in July. And this is the cover. The photograph on this was done by the wonderful photographer Natasha Hanna. And in it, there's actually a tree that looks like it's dancing. So the first section of this book is poems from a writing retreat I did on the island of Flaresh as part of the Azores. This is called The Widow of Fayez Grandes. Whitecaps rise and fall as distant dolphins. I once shook my fist, spat at the sea, fat. The devil in blue, the devil in green, gray, grabbed my Joseph, mine. What am I saying? With the sea, there is no mine. Taught heaven, hell, God, and devil. Out there is only air and sea. One breathes or doesn't. The sea took my man, spun and sail and oar and splintered keel. What kind of payment was that? I say fat on the priest. No God can heal my empty bed. I turn my back to the sea. The ache snakes up my stomach, fills my throat with spume. Turn away, tighten robe, put kettle on, grind coffee, slice bread, pull out bucket and brush, clean these old tiles again. The wash water bites me cold. I force again my hand, my flesh, into the vastness, into the depths I know have bottom. I will not fall in. juggler, circa 1890. This came from a photograph called Juggler, circa 1890. Obviously, the man was an immigrant. His clothes are patched, and he's posed with plates stuck on the wall, so it looks like he's juggling them. The knives are the hardest. In this country, it is not so easy. I have taken up juggling. But weren't we always jugglers, on edge, blade tossed, horses in the night, cobblestone clatter, doors smashed in, God looking away, Hava taken and taken and taken, then cut apart, my sister. Yet it's not so easy here either, theater to theater. The audience happy when I drop something. I have put a fumble in the act. One night, a chair collapsed under me. My arms with wills of their own caught falling plates like stars from the air. Oh, the applause, the laughter. The manager wants me to break chairs every night. In the photograph, the plates are stuck to the wall. See, I am posed by the photographer to look good. It should be so easy. The plates, perfect planets, anchored in orbit around me. But gravity, I struggle to keep everything up. The bottles have to be thrown just right. Hands grasp slender necks falling down. But the knives are the hardest. Don't think about it. And this book, Lost in Sight, is the only book that has individual poems. It's not a series like all the other ones I did. And the next one, Dear Suzanne, is a biography in verse of the artist Suzanne Valadon. This is a self-portrait she did when she was 62 years old. And this poem happens when she's probably somewhere between 8 years old. Hunger. Bits of chalk crumble in my fingers, down to nubs to scraped knuckles. Frenzies I draw in swooping and hard lines, those who pass on the street below, seen from one grim window until I run out of wall. Mother comes home heavy, hauling baskets of laundry, angry as though I did harm. These dingy walls scored and stained, what grace do I cover? She rubs out. Down on the pavement, I draw those that dawdle, gawking at the girl playing artist, as though it is a game. I grab scurrying scraps of paper, bills of lading, old receipts, once a letter crumpled and smooth. My hands hunger for line. There is never enough. Pencil and chalk, pieces of coal make do. Famished with lonely, I hold walkers with my lines. Drawn faces stare back. I draw to know. And this one is self-portrait at 66. It's not just that the bones ache, flesh becomes unbecoming, sags and pulls with each gravitational turn. Here I dressed my neck in amber beads, my eyes still midsummer blue, while the lids fall in autumnal droop. I resign myself to be who I am, no longer pretty, no longer young. On the streets, heads turn for the artist, not the enchantress. So be it. See out the window behind my right shoulder? It is still summer. Clouds pivot over blue. I use blue in the shadows under my breast. At 18, I painted myself austere, thinking I would be beautiful always. A midnight blue dress tight to my neck. I painted myself at 48 with the bloom of youth and love still shining, my body firm and sensual, my dress dropped below my breast. At 59, I slashed a canvas in a rage, nothing beautiful anymore. Fame is casting eyes on Maurice over me. Fights with Andre tear my heart. Who am I here? No other woman dares document time with her own flesh. No other woman strips the layers of convention to aging, bone, heavy, and weary. Now I have grown beyond sexuality, the raison d'etre in France. I have grown old. I paint myself winter. Mm. And the last one I'm doing is from a chapter called Scar Tissue, which is this one. And the cover is a portrait of my Aunt Corinne when she was 16 years old that my dad did when he was about 19 years old. So this is a pastel portrait done by my dad of his little sister. Cora lived for 7 years in foster care as her mother was put into a state asylum right after her birth. Later, her dad, my granddad, married again and they brought her to live with them. This poem is called Stepmother. In the foster home, Cora, the Jew outsider in the Catholic home, confession, communion, catechism, stuff the others do. Cora, the different one. Something about the man called Father. One day he comes with another woman, corset held straight and hard. Cora feels mean spirits fly from woman's eyes, feels hate. New word washes Cora in doom. She whispers, don't like her. Woman in loud voice of what is to come. I don't like you either. Now bad dreams happen when eyes open. Birth mother. The father said, dress in prettiest dress. Cora thinks party, thinks special, thinks exciting to go someplace unknown. In the black car, back seat next to real brother, black hair, rack of waves, contrast to her fair. At the brick building, how lovely, who lives here? Inside, father pulls her to edge of long box. A woman lies hard and still. Your mother, look at her. No party this. Hides head in hands. Look at her. At face like brothers, bustled by grown-ups dressed in dark, no tears stain their faces, no hug for motherless child. At the cemetery, the rough cut box lowers by ropes into the raw earth. Brother mourns forever, cross to bear. And one more called Births and Loss. She gave birth to 5 children, of which there were 3 that survived to adulthood. Birth and loss. When a girl is born, Cora's father said, name after mother, the woman seen only in death. Cora defies this time, names daughter for foster sister. But girl carries crazed genes, a torment forever, anger behind every morning cloud, eats every dream alive. The second child comes, never to roll over, to sit or speak. The doctor blamed, forceps birth, yanked into blankness. Cora holds and tends, boy heavier and heavier. When next pregnancy grows, she gives up child to hospital until death ends, breath in and out. Third child born whole, born scream, until grown he falls off edge of night. Black wraps his limbs, descending to despair every working day. Another child, another boy is born, heart cold, dies before spring, cold weekend, Cora's heart punctured again. As Cora ages, the final son, born early, never quite right in body, turns to rituals of prayer, follows the Torah. Cora learns again about kosher, whatever left behind, taken up in spades, the way it is, just the way it is.